Greetings, Earthbound Travelers, by Garth Dokeen's Sacred Taint. It's Friday. That means it's time for Cast Guidance. I'm Tier the DM, the world's okayest DM. And with me today, I have, as always, the Mad One, Raph the Mad.
Greetings, greetings, greetings.
And the unruly Locke Clark.
Hi, gamers.
Before we get started, just a couple of quick things. First and foremost, we are for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. Secondly, we do not condone the use of nicotine products such as cigarettes, cigars, pipes, or vaping. Just because we do it doesn't mean you should. We want you to live happy, healthy lives. And finally, we are not associated with Wizards of the Coast. We are just three individuals coming together to give our questionable opinion on matters of TTRPG.
Very, very questionable.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Locke, take us away.
Hi, gamers. I'm Locke Clark, and I'm going to take a moment to talk to you first about our musician who made the lovely theme song that you heard as we were coming in. And it's awesome, and we love it, and we love them for having made it for us. And that is our very own Patrick Taylor. Thanks, Peculiar Patrick. Also, we would like to take a moment and thank our partners in this endeavor. First of which is Red Panda Dice and Delights. Fine purveyors of amazing dice. And you can go and check them out at redpandadice.com for all your dice and Red Panda plushies and maybe dice bags at some point and things. So you should go check them out. Also, we would like to thank NordVPN. They're one of our partners. They provide military-grade encryption for all your devices, and that lets you do all kinds of cool things, like set your location as different countries, and then get access to things like Netflix in other countries, and where they have different options and things that aren't available here in the U.S. So there's that, and you can use things like Venmo when you're traveling abroad because you can just set your location to the U.S. and still use Venmo. So there's some really cool things, and it keeps you safe, which is the most important part. Also, I'm going to take a moment and be political for a second. There's a new law that is in the works. It is proposed. It is a bill that's going through, I think, the House and the Senate right now, or have their own versions of it. It is a bill that is designed to be anti-TikTok because the old Republican douche nozzles that are in control of Congress don't like other countries stealing your data. They only like it when our country does it. And so they think TikTok is a big problem. And they've written this really broad law, whose name I can't remember right now. And I'm sorry for that. You'll need to look it up for yourself. But that broad law, because they have worded it so poorly, if it goes into effect, would outlaw VPNs. So it's a lot of bullshit. And you need to write your Congress people, write your senators, and tell them, do not do this. It's bad. So everybody should research that on their own. And I know I went off on a tangent here, and I'm sorry, but it's important. Also,
a tangent already? What?
I know, right? And finally, we would like to thank our third partner in this, which is Phineas Coffee. They make delicious coffee to keep you awake and perky during long gaming sessions. Go try Phineas Coffee today. To do that, you'll use our link, which is bit.ly /WOTD Phineas. Sorry, I had to look at that one. Also, I didn't mention because I went off on a tangent. NordVPN. Go to our website, willofthedice.com, and click the link there to let them know you came from us. And now back to you, Tier.
I say it's Raph.
It's back to
to
me.
you, Raph.
Because you know why? Because it's that time. It's that time, followers and listeners and watchers. Go out to patreon.com. Go look up Will of the Dice. Go find us. Hit that subscribe button. Help subscribe to us. Help support this channel. If you subscribe, you get access to After the Rolls, where we discuss the fuckery that Tier does to us on a weekly basis. You get access to audio dramas. You get access to polls. You get access to all sorts of cool things before they hit the YouTubes, the Podbeans, the other podcasts and streaming services. So yes, go out there, help support us, because that money really does help support this channel. So very much, those who have supported, we appreciate you very much.
And for the next 17 subscribers, you get a 55 millimeter D20. They are huge, chunky boys from Red Panda Dice and Delights. They got a cool red panda where the 20 is.
Mm-hmm.
One of those needs to come to me, just saying, along with my other dice I should be getting eventually, hopefully. Yeah.
Yeah, Adesha dropped one on you already there for your tangent. There, Locke.
Oh dear.
Uh-huh.
Right. Yes.
Just remind Congress that if they ban VPNs, that they can't hide their porn anymore.
That's right. We'll all know what they're searching.
So yeah, what are we doing today, Tier?
Who the fuck knows? We don't. That's why today's episode title is called Pickin' and a Grinnin'. I figure we just make this shit up as we go.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I do have a topic tangent start that may go maybe 5 minutes at most, but for those you don't know, haven't heard, have been hiding under a rock, AI is the new big thing hitting everything. AI chatbots, AI everything, AI DMing, AI gaming, artificial intelligence is starting to hit the market. Artificially generated art is a thing. However, people have been kind of wondering what are the rules, laws, and whatnot about it. So the Patent Office has issued some clear guidelines to what is copyrightable and what is not. Essentially, anything that's created with an AI is not copyrightable. That's their premise, their broad guidance. If you could create it with an AI, then you have to go in and transform it, add bits, bobs, bits, whatever to make it your own piece of work. So there's more to that. I found a video that I'm going to link here in the chat that's about 11 minutes that gives you the broad strokes of the ruling. It's from a guy who teaches art, so it really does kind of apply to his sphere. But yeah, with AI coming out, it kind of affects a lot of things. For those of you in the white collar, the tech industries, if you're not talking about it, you should be, because it has some serious potential to disrupt a lot of things and change how we do a lot of things.
Okay, so I'm going to offer a couple of opinions here. One of which is going to be, I'm sure, a very hot, controversial take, but I know people have been up in arms and saying that AI art is stealing from other artists. No, it's not. Even when you see what looks like a signature on AI art, that's just the AI deciding that this thing should have a signature on it because other art does, because it's learning from other art. So while there might be similarities between a piece of existing art and AI art, or in a particular piece of AI art, it's like how every music artist since the Beatles has been inspired by the Beatles. You can't say they're copying Beatles. No, they're inspired by, and that shaped who they were as a musician. And it's the same with AI. It is shaped by the art it's looking at and makes art inspired by. I think, though, that this move to not allow AI art, strictly generated AI content, to be copywritten is smart, because it means that you can't monetize a piece of strictly AI art. It's just a tool.
Yes.
And that makes it that makes it much better for me. I'm fine with that. But I was already in the camp of like, this isn't as big a problem as people think it is. It's,
it is, and that was pretty much the leaning of the Copyright Office, is that this is a tool. You need to make it your own and make something. If you want to make something copyrightable piece of art, you need to actually put some art into it and put some effort into it. But anything that is just totally generated by a prompt is not considered art and not considered copyrightable. There's some fine in there that will be parsed out probably later.
I just want to add an addendum to what I said, just so that I'm absolutely clear about this. I understand that a lot of people are using AI art to generate character art for their D&D characters. If you have the means and can afford to go hire an artist on like Fiverr to draw your character art for you, you should totally do that. You can even generate a piece of AI art and then send that to them as this is what I'm thinking. draw me something like this.
Mhm.
That would be, an acceptable way to convey the thing that's in your head. If you can find an AI generated thing that looks like what you want, if you can type in the right prompt, but then pay a real artist. Don't cut them out of the process if you can afford it. If you can't afford to pay an artist on Fiverr to draw your character art, I mean, you could already go to Hero Forge and design a mini that you're not going to buy, and use that as your
haven't done
character
that
art.
at all.
Never done that.
Nope.
So I'm just saying that, like, use it responsibly, and if you can afford to pay an artist for your art, do that.
Yes, and yeah, but a lot of the reason this really came out is because it follows very much along the lines of the fair use policies that a lot of the big art houses use already.
Right.
And that the video I linked talks about fair use and the broad generalities of what fair use of copyrighted material means. So I go check it out, form your opinions, and like I said, it's here to stay, and we're gonna have to learn to adapt.
Tyr, did you have an opinion on AI art?
I think that people will get up in arms over any fucking thing.
Fair.
Fair.
Absolutely fair.
And I've used AI art for NPCs and settings and stuff to show to my players. I don't see anything wrong with it. At the same time, we do have a artist for character art in Sketched, and before that, it was Todd Koss. I keep wanting to add an R to his name. Both amazing artists. But if you don't have the money, especially if you're running an at-home game, enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, especially us running a stream, we are, we're in a more public sphere. We should definitely be using art that we have paid for and not just generated. But I mean, you don't need to pay for art for every NPC that we're going to fight. If an NPC is important enough that you think we need to see what it looks like, or like you homebrew a monster and want to show us that monster when we see it, yes, just use AI art because it's easy. And you could probably, I know how you work, Tyr. Like, you'll create a new monster for us to fight 2 days before we're going to fight it. Because because someone said something about banana fish in a chat, and then you went and made a thing. And if you want to show us what that thing looks like, you could totally AI art generate that. Whereas you could not find an artist who could get it done in time for the game. It's a tool. Also, Chat GPT.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Gamers, DMs, Chat GPT is fucking amazing. I have seen on Reddit multiple, especially for for games like Blades in the Dark or Scum and Villainy, things like that, AI generated adventures that are really solidly written. Little like, here's your adventure hooks. Here's where the betrayal happens. Here's this. And you as a DM are like, that's the outline that I needed for my adventure. Now I don't have to think about the outline. I just got to fill in all the details. So it's a great tool. Use the fucking tool.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. It's a tool. Here, generate 15 adventure ideas to work with. Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like that one and that one. Mash together, walk away.
I mean, literally, the one that I saw that was the best was ask the prompt to generate a Blades in the Dark adventure for a for a new group. And the adventure it generated was a lighthouse thing where there was a mystery and there were ghosts and there was a betrayal and it was a whole. And I'm like, that's a really good adventure. That is solid. From that simple prompt, it gave a really good adventure. Yeah. So, use the tools that are at your disposal.
We'll have to hit up Chat GPT.
Yeah, right.
Yep. And it's on my list of things to add to my repertoire.
Yeah.
Because it's a thing now, and those who embrace it are going to get ahead. But anyways, so back to gaming.
I've got a thing.
All right.
I've got a couple of these. I'm going to sprinkle them throughout. The first one is the best one, though. This is a really like deep lore rules question that I found a meme of, and I sent it to the chat, and everyone went, wait a minute, and stopped to think about it. So the spell Feign Death says that you cannot determine that this person isn't dead even by magical means. So that means that even magic will think that they are dead, and then the spell Summon Demon requires a vial full of a blood of someone who died within X amount of time to summon the demon. And so the question is, can you use a vial of blood from someone who was using Feign Death to summon a demon?
No.
Because the magic doesn't know that they're not dead. Magically, they're dead. Go ahead, Tim.
That's a good one.
Yeah, your initial reaction is to say no. Because
my
it
initial
seems...
reaction is to say no. But the more I think about it, I'm like, maybe.
Right?
Because the magic can't tell that they're not dead. I'd give it a 50-50 shot of working.
I you know what? I'm fine with that, with a random chance. Roll on the chaos wheel.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of AI, Tierbot.
Yep.
Tierbot's not AI though. It's not that smart yet. It just
Not yet.
we give it a command and it generates a thing for us.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point. Only if the demon summoning occurs before the Feign Death wears off. So yeah, no, but I mean, like, so a party member casts Feign Death on themselves. We take the vial of blood. I cast the thing, and then they end the effect of Feign Death after the demon has been summoned.
I would allow it, and here's how. I would allow it, except for afterwards, you've made a mortal enemy of the demon because you tricked him.
I mean, that's fair. But the demon was going to try and trick me anyway, so, you know, fuck him.
Well, that's you tricking. That's him tricking you. That's entirely illegal. You're not supposed to trick him. How close are we looking at the blood from the most church?
I mean, it's up to how close is the magic that summons it looking at the blood, and the magic can't tell the difference. So that's I don't know that we're getting scientific. I mean, the person appears dead by any means you check them, according to the spell. So you cannot tell that they are not dead.
Yeah, and it says specifically, and to spells used to determine the target status. The magic would check, is this blood from a dead person? Well, the magic says, yes, I was dead.
Yeah, I mean, remember that in D&D, everything is based on, in 50 anyway, 5e, all the magic is based on tags. Everything has a tag. And when you have the dead tag, it means you cannot receive healing magic, and a bunch of other things. So magically, anything that checks to see what your tags are, the tag says dead. So the summoning spell looks at the tag on that blood and goes, dead. This will work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that also leads me to another question here. And this is something I meant to bring up, and I should have put this on the list of things because it flows right along with this. We had a discussion on Sunday about a material component for a spell. And it brought up the interesting question, and you made a ruling in the game, and I'm totally fine with that ruling. I'm not trying to re-adjudicate that. But it is something worth discussing, I think, as DMs. And that is, sometimes in the spell component list, there is something that is very super specific that you need as a spell component, but it does not have a monetary value. Now, the rules as written say that you can use a arcane focus or a spell casting focus, because divine has focus. You can use a spell casting focus to replace any material component that doesn't have a monetary value. The spell in question required mistletoe harvested in the moonlight using a golden sickle.
Ah, fuck.
Right.
What spell is this? Because
I don't even remember. It's a 6th level druid spell. I know that. Hold on, let me bring up my druid character and look at my spell list. I didn't actually take the spell in question. I was thinking about taking it, but I stopped to ask about the material component because I felt like that was smart. Manage spells, known spells, all the way to the bottom.
Yeah, a mistletoe. Mistletoe. That's some serious old school remnant D&D craft.
It's Druid Grove. It's the Druid equivalent of Sanctuary.
Okay.
Or the one that lets you create a temple in as a cleric. Yeah, you need it requires verbal, somatic, and material components. The material component is mistletoe, which the spell consumes, that was harvested with a golden sickle under the light of the full moon. So the question is, when you have a spell that has a super specific component, but that component does not have an intrinsic monetary value, can you use an arcane focus to bypass the component, or do you need to actually have the component? And I would, and then I should look that up too while we're thinking about it.
I just searched D&D Beyond for mistletoe just out of random. Sprig of mistletoe equipment. A druid can use a sprig of mistletoe or holly as a spellcasting focus described the spellcasting.
Yes, but
not harvested under full moon.
The mistletoe would be if they were using mistletoe harvested under the full moon with a golden sickle as their spellcasting focus, that spell would consume their focus, and then they would no longer have a focus because the spell says it consumes the mistletoe. The thing I'm going to look up is component pouch.
Component pouch is things that doesn't have a monetary value as well.
Right. That was what I wanted to make sure of. So, like, I imagine you would have to, let's see, can hold all material components other than special items you need to cast your spells, except for those components that have a specific cost, as indicated in the spell's description. So technically, rules is written, a spellcasting focus or a component pouch could technically replace this really weirdly specific component if you're just going by raw.
If you're going by raw, yes, but no, I would not allow that. You're going to have the. It's just too damn specific. You're going to have to get it.
I don't disagree.
And I'm going to kick your. I'm going to complicate this because a sprig of mistletoe is 1 gold piece.
Yeah, but
druidic focus.
No. But it's only when a sprig of mistletoe could cost you 1 gold piece, or you could just go harvest it your damn self, and then it's free. Also, it only counts when in the spell description, in the component description, it lists a monetary value. For example, Hero's Feast.
A jeweled bowl worth 1,000 gold pieces.
Right. It specifically says it's worth this much in the spell description. But the spell description for Druid's Grove doesn't give you like it must be harvested with a golden sickle that cost you this much gold.
Like I said, it's too damn specific.
I agree. I 100% agree, but I feel like it was a topic worth talking about because there aren't a lot of these spells that have these weirdly specific spell components that aren't worth anything outside of being able to cast that spell. And so it is a very gray area in the rules. And it's something that you as a DM or anyone as a DM might want to stop to take a moment to consider how you would play that in your campaign.
Like pickled tentacles?
Yeah.
Lolly just posted something like pickled tentacle. I'm not sure I want to look up that spell that requires pickled tentacles.
I want to know what spell that
is. Is that Arms of Hadar? That'd be my guess. Hunger of Hadar. Yeah, there you go. Okay. I knew it had to be a Hadar spell. They're all the tentacle ones, right?
Makes you wonder about Hadar.
Hadar was into some cakey shit.
Yeah.
Hadar's real name is Orotsu Kadoji.
Next will be Hentai of Horror.
I'm pretty sure that spell exists in the lewd version of 5e, which is a thing that's out there and you can pay for. So yeah, the hentai of Hadar. Let's cast that. You need a dick-shaped lollipop and a tentacle that's pickled. Sorry. I'm going to hell.
We're all right there with you already.
Yeah. All right. So what? Anything else on this before we move on?
No, we're moving on.
Okay, that's fair. Who's got something else? and we should probably put, while we're transitioning, audience, if you have any like weird rules specific questions or just things you want us to answer, feel free to put them in the chat and we'll get around to them. It's going to be that kind of day.
Yep.
Yeah. Because I'm a Pickin.
Yep. Let's see. In the world of the VTTs, I picked up Tailspire off of Steam. It's a virtual tabletop. Played with it for about a half hour. It doesn't too bad. For mapping, unlike Dungeon Alchemy, for those who are familiar with it, Dungeon Alchemy does a really good job of making two-dimensional battle maps. We used it in my one-shot, A Dark and Stormy Night. That's what I used for it. Tailspire is entirely 3D and allows you to do full 3D virtual tabletop, all Critical Role and or not Critical Role, but D20 and Foundry. But I don't like how it implements some of its mapping conventions. All your walls take up a 5 foot by 5 foot square, versus most other maps that use the space in between the squares to put your walls up. So other than that, it looks good. You can import your Hero Forge characters that you make in Hero Forge that you totally don't intend to print. You can import those into Tailspire for the tokens and for the 3D miniatures that you move through the map. So you muted Lock.
Sorry. That's really cool. I like that a lot, that you can import your minis.
Yes. So I'll play with this some more and kind of get a better feel for right now. It's not too bad. I'm just not happy with the way it does the map conventions for your walls. But it does allow for a true 3D mapping too, with levels and moving up and down stairs that other tabletops I haven't seen do yet. I've seen some ads for some other ones dropping. And then, of course, we got D&D Beyond or 1D&D or whatever the next version is. They're working their virtual tabletop as well. And I highly suspect that's going to be full 3D.
And I've seen the test plays of that. And then I heard like someone complaining, and we've talked about this, about system hogs. And that they're letting people come in and test out this new virtual tabletop and how it works and try out a game in it, but they're running it on $6,000 laptops. Yeah, you know why, folks? Anybody who's in programming can tell you this. It's because optimization is the last fucking thing that happens. So they're still testing it. It's not done. So they're running a test version of it, and they're running it on their machines that they know will run it.
Yep.
Because the optimization to make it run on lesser machines is the last thing they're going to do. Once they've got it all squared away and fixed the way they want it, then they will optimize it. So we can't judge that yet. We don't know.
Nope.
I mean, yeah, it's beefy enough. It's probably going to be a system hog, but we can't know for sure until.
Sure.
I'm one of those people that was bitching about it's going to be a system hog, and it's going to be a system hog.
Yeah, no doubt, but we don't know how bad it's going to be. But yeah, I specifically saw people online being like, look at the system, look at the machines they're playing that on. And then like coders coming in and being like, no. Optimization doesn't happen until the last thing. You can't judge what they're playing it on now as the only thing it'll run on until they finish the program and optimize it.
All right, we need to take a quick break. My headset told me that the battery's fixing to die. So I've got to switch. Actually, we don't have to take a break. I just need to switch. So you all talk.
We'll talk.
Okay, Lolly says in chat that found another weird one. Summon Aberration takes a pickled tentacle and an eyeball in a platinum inlaid vial worth at least 400 gold pieces. So
that's
the platinum inlaid vial is a monetary cost, so that negates the rules is written about using an arcane focus to replace it.
I'm going to go with that's oddly specific. And do you know anybody who happens to have a whole bunch of eyeballs and platinum inlaid vials worth at least 400 gold pieces lying around? You just run down to the local general store and pick that up.
But the eyeball's not worth 400 gold pieces. The vial is, and what Lolly typed there, I'll have to go look up the spell. That doesn't say anything about it being consumed in the spell casting. So that's literally an item you need to pick up once. Ooh. And then you just have it for the spell casting, in theory. Unless it specifically says it is consumed.
I have to go find a spell. Although that does lead to another, add that to your town. You have to add the creepy curio shop to your town. Because that's where all the weird stuff gets bought.
Just go to Mad Maggie's.
All right, I'm pulling up the spell right now.
Yeah, but you don't know what you get out of Mad Maggie's. Here, this is potion. Don't know what it does, but you can have it for 10 gold.
No, Mad Maggie knows what her shit does. She's just crazy.
No, it's the three goblins in a trench coat that will sell you shit they don't know if it works. Or were they kobolds? I don't remember. They were in a trench coat, though.
Yes, I've got a miniature of that coming. I backed one of the Dungeons and Laser Kickstarters, and one of the miniatures they're putting out is three kobolds in a trench coat. I'm like, gotta have that one. Let's see.
It's so weird wearing cans on show. It just. But I was a bad tier and forgot to charge my Bluetooth. So
it does not say that it is consumed. It just says you have to have it. Most of the time, the material components say they're consumed or not.
So I have an announcement I need to make.
Uh-oh.
Uh-huh.
To our lovely audience, our time at Friday noon is coming to an end. I'm not going to go into details why just yet. Nothing's official, but it will be official soon. We're going to be moving to an evening time slot. We haven't figured out which time slot yet, but just be prepared that your lunches with us are numbered. And if we can't find an evening time slot that works for all three of us, then I will bow out and we'll keep it on Friday noon, and Locke and Raph will have cast guidance.
Boo, we don't like that idea.
No, you don't want us unsupervised.
Yeah. Okay, so I checked just to make sure the player's handbook rules on components, and it says that if a spell does not specifically indicate that a component is consumed, then it is not consumed.
Right.
Well, I know, but I wanted to double check and make sure that I was right in thinking that. So having, so you just need one platinum inlaid vial with an eyeball in it that costs you 400 gold pieces to get the vial. And then you know, and then you're good. You can summon all the aberrations you want.
Mhm.
So, Raph,
Yes.
Lolly says that they'll still be here in the shadows, so you're not completely unsupervised. And Siri Cat has volunteered to supervise.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
My opinion.
Uh,
Let's see. Shadow of Moyle. An undead eyeball encased in a gem worth at least 150 gold pieces. I looked up eyeball and trying to find that spell, and this one popped up instead. I'm like, that's an interesting way. Again, that falls under tiger soup. You have to get the undead eyeball first.
oh, that's easy though. If you're the caster that has Shadow of Moyle, getting an undead eyeball is easy for you because you can make
Yes.
your own.
True. And you only have
just
to do it
saying.
once too.
Yeah, because that's a warlock spell.
Yep. Yeah,
Hi,
fourth-
Welsh. Thanks for stopping by. We're
Yeah, I
sorry
was
that
gonna
you
see
have
you,
to
Welsh.
go.
Yep.
Watch the VOD later; it'll be fun.
Yeah.
And you too can check us out either on the VOD here on Twitch or on YouTube.
Yeah. Although I'm way behind on uploading shit because I've been dealing
That's
with
fair.
life. So,
Or you can listen to our podcast, where
Yes.
I dutifully edit all of these down, taking out the breaks and replacing them with just a little bit of music, and then yeah. So
yeah, I'm behind on uploading those too. So,
no, are you? I don't think you.
I know I am.
Oh,
I'm about 2 weeks behind. So,
okay. Well,
that's my plan
remember,
for tomorrow.
I was gonna say, remember that we have a built-in 1 week cushion, so you're only a week behind, really.
No, I'm 2 weeks behind.
Oh, okay. I was trying to catch you a break, man. I'm a week behind on editing at this point. Like I'm halfway done with the episodes from last week. So I feel less bad now, but I had a shitty week, so you know.
Yeah, I've been dealing with life too. So.
Yeah. Anyway, all right, weird spell combination uses. Since we just talked about combining feign death and summon demon to make that work. Hey, Tyr, if I cast Speak with Animals and then I cast Speak with Dead, can I talk to furniture?
Hmm.
No, I've got another one here for you. While I was thinking about that one. So we need to discuss everyone's favorite creature, the Tarrasque. Challenge level 30. The be all end all of creature is supposed to be able to be unstoppable, except for like super powerful wish spells. Can be stopped by some ball bearings. Because as an action, you spill these tiny metal balls from your pouch to cover a level square area that's 10 feet on a side. A creature moving across the cover area must succeed a DC 10 dexterity save. Tarrasques have no dexterity. Or fall prone. If a creature moves through the area at half speed, doesn't need to make this up. Yes. So yes, you can knock over the Tarrasque with ball bearings.
And you can stop it in its tracks with Sentinel.
Yeah, Sentinel will stop it too. And that doesn't require a DC. I just have to hit. And Tarrasques aren't hard to hit.
No.
They're hard to damage. They're not hard to hit. So, yeah, I can hit them and stop them, which is ridiculous and why I say Sentinel is broken. But also, if I'm the DM and I'm running the Tarrasque and you spill ball bearings and my Tarrasque fails its dex save, I'm going to burn a fucking legendary resistance on that shit.
Well, here's the better part, though. The Tarrasque is now knocked prone. He's now harder to hit. This giant hail of a creature, because he's technically prone, and prone creatures
would be harder to hit with ranged.
True.
With melee, however, you get advantage. but it shouldn't matter with something that size. There should be. That's a rule we need to implement. That is a rule that is missing from D&D. If something is of bigger than gigantic size, when you knock it over, it does not get harder to hit because it is still pretty tall.
So if I'm the DM and you throw ball bearings, I'm rolling to see if it falls on you.
That's fair too.
Let's see what else. It can also be taken out with caltrops. Caltrops work the same way. You spread them across an area, and if you fail the dex save, you take 1 point of damage.
Anything that creates difficult terrain would impede a Tarrasque's movement, and even though that should not work.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean that's the answer to fixing that, though, right? Is you institute a separate set of rules for those mechanics once a creature gets so big.
Yeah.
Like above a certain size category, whatever size category you want to set that at. And I don't have the size lists up anymore, I don't think. But like maybe I do. Hold on. I keep these things available for when
although the Tarrasque is immune to non-magical attacks being the question, being the key term there. So
yeah, but immunity doesn't matter to something like Sentinel. Immunity just means you take no damage from it. But if I hit you,
you're still
even
stopped.
though you're not taking damage from it, you still don't get your movement.
But think about this. He's not immune to gravity. And your spears are just spikes at the bottom of a pit. And he'll take damage from falling into a spiked pit because it's not an attack.
Oh, that's weird.
I would rule that he'd be immune. He's immune to all non-magical damage. That's how I would rule it.
Yeah, see, and then, well, the argument is non-magical attack.
Okay,
Now
wait, hold on.
The character sheet.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Tier. The Tarrasque, you just said that you believe the Tarrasque would be immune to all non-magical damage. Does that mean, what about falling damage? Like just straight falling damage? Everything takes falling damage, right? Doesn't matter about your immunities.
That's why they said non-magical attacks.
There's a cap. I don't think the spikes would do you any damage. I agree with Tyr because the spikes are weapons. I don't think they do damage. But falling in the pit, the falling damage would happen.
Falling damage is considered bludgeoning damage, though. And it specifically says bludgeoning damage.
That's fair.
Yeah, but it says non-magical attacks.
That I'd give it 50-50.
Yeah, and this is where we run to the ambiguity, the fun part of these rules.
Tyr, I cast reverse gravity on the Tarrasque, and then I turn it off. Is that a magical attack?
I would count that as a magical attack.
Because now the falling damage is a result of me using magic, right? That's
yeah.
but he's not immune to non-magical attack. That's still a magical attack.
Well, no, but see, all right. But my question, falling damage technically isn't. But if I used magic to make the fall happen, does it then count as magic in this case? That's the question. Because I think if you reverse gravity on an area, everybody's taking damage from that shit. I don't care how cool you are.
You mean like in a church building, like setting where you're doing a performance?
Yes, like that. Although, like, I don't know. I'm of two minds about that because, like, maybe it shouldn't. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe because, like, if I'm a barbarian and I rage, if the barbarian rages while they get caught in reverse gravity and then they get slammed to the ground, I could see letting them shrug that off, letting them be like, okay, you take half of it because you're a barbarian and you're enraged.
Yeah. I'd have to say that thinking about it,
Makes your head hurt.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it does. Now I want to take level 20 Scions of Oblivion and put them up against a Tarask and see what happens.
Ooh.
I mean, I've only fought a Tarask once in my D&D career. And the DM I was playing with was kind of a Monty Hall DM, and he had allowed me to play. This was Second Ed. We were playing Second Ed, and he let me play an anti-paladin. So I was bad, but I was masking the fact that my character was evil, and no one in the party had figured out I was evil. And then when the Tarask happened, I talked them into rather than using the wish spell that they had on a ring to get rid of the Tarask, I convinced them that we needed to send the Tarask to hell. It was the only way to stop it, and got them to use their wish to summon a virgin that we then sacrificed on the Tarask while standing on the Tarask's forehead, and opened a rift to the plane of to one of the 9 hells, and let demons start pouring out into the world. Which the demons started attacking the Tarask and everything else. And the DM immediately realized what had happened and went, I need all of you to hand over your character sheets, and then changed everyone's alignments because they just sacrificed an innocent person they wished into existence to open a gate to hell. I felt like I won that game.
The fact the rest of the players let it happen. Yeah, how do you...
The fact that they had a wish spell and they let me talk them into using it for something other than getting rid of the Tarask. I will point out though that now in 5th edition, the Tarask is no longer the unkillable thing.
No,
you can technically kill it, which means that it can also be raised.
An undead Tarask?
Undead Tarask. Yeah, stick that in your pipe and smoke it.
Well, yeah, and
Tears making notes. Tears fucking making notes. Oh god.
Why? Hey, this is why we got to be careful on some of these conversations, because we give Tier bad ideas.
No, I have a rule.
Hey, yeah, I know, and I know about that rule, and that's why I said it first.
The rule is, if my players come up with an idea that I have not already thought of, I will not use it against them. That doesn't mean I won't use it against other players. I just won't use it against them.
I've made myself immune. And fuck the rest of you. Ha ha! Just hope I show up for that session, guys, and then he can't use it.
Oh yeah, and if you jump to a different continuity, the Pathfinder world, the Pathfinder verse, they have a whole world of Tarasks. And all sorts of different versions of Tarask, including a plant Tarask. Made out of plants. And it's even scarier than a regular one.
So I have to modify the rule because I just realized that I have people that play in multiple campaigns. So I won't use it in one campaign.
God damn it.
So the Tarask can only be targeted by touch attack spells. Reflective Carapace. Anytime the Tarask is targeted by a magic missile spell, a line spell, or a spell that requires a ranged attack roll a d6. On 1 to 5, it's unaffected. On a 6, the spell is reflected back at the caster.
But that doesn't mean just touch.
Area effect as well.
AoE will work as well.
Yep.
I target the hex. Thank you. Those are my favorite words in existence, by the way. I want to target the hex. I learned that playing champions. What's their defense combat value? What's their DCV? Oh, that's really high. I don't know that I can roll high enough to hit that. What's the DCV of the hex they're standing in, though? I'm going to target the hex.
So it specifically says a line spell or a magic missile spell or a spell that requires a ranged attack roll. So yeah, AoE spells would work as long as they're not a line. So wall of fire, not going to work unless you do it in a circle.
Yeah, because then you take the area of effect damage from it.
But call lightning works.
Yes, because it is not immune to lightning. It is immune to fire and poison.
So wall of fire wasn't going to work anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Unless, wait, there's a way. There's a way to make it to allow it to be affected by fire. And that's if you've got a high enough level monk of the right subclass. Which one is it? It's the
No, it's a spell.
No, there's a
feat.
There's a monk. There's a monk thing that called extract aspects or something like that, where you can, at high enough level, you can not only find out what all of their what they're immune to, what they're resistant to, what they're vulnerable to, but then you can also pick one of those things and say you're no longer immune to that. You now take full damage to it. You're now vulnerable to it. And it only lasts for one round. I want to say it's the Cobalt. It's the one Matt Mercer wrote. I think it's the Cobalt Soul version of the monk. Has that, which I always thought was a really cool ability. So
I was thinking something else. Elemental Adept. Spells you cast ignore resistance to damage, not immunity. Resistance.
Yeah, ignore resistance, not immunity.
I had to go look that up specifically.
I personally think, and maybe it makes the feat overpowered. I don't know, but I think that the Elemental Adept, it should be worded so it moves it by one category. So immunity becomes resistance. Resistance becomes normal. Normal becomes vulnerable.
Ooh, that could be an interesting way to play that.
It column shifts it by one. I think that's the way that feat should work, but that's just me. That might make it overpowered, especially the vulnerability when you're fighting things that don't have natural immunities and you make them vulnerable, so they take double damage from your spell.
That's a little broken there.
That might be too much. But moving immunity to resistant and resistant to normal, I think would be a fair way to use that. That's just me. Even resistant, you're still only getting half damage at best, and that's if they don't save.
Yeah. Let's see. AC 25, that's not actually that hard to hit.
Well, no, because it's giant. It's not that hard to hit.
Yep.
Does it have DR?
No, but it does. I was looking somewhere. Thought it had some sort of fast healing mechanic.
Does it have a regeneration?
It has Frightful Presence. That's pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
Unless you're immune to fear.
Garnet.
That's the thing about fear. Fear is it's one of those things like poison where a lot of things are immune to it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know a lot of things that are immune to fear. I know Kinder are.
There are a lot of monsters that fear doesn't work against them.
Most of the undead.
Yeah.
Looking through the Trask, it does not have a healing mechanic.
So what I'm hearing, Raph, is I need to homebrew a healing mechanic for the Trask.
Maybe. No, yeah, they've definitely for the 5th edition toned this down a lot. But still, well, it is not unkillable. It'll be difficult. For level 20s to go after this, it wouldn't be an easy fight, but it is doable.
Looking at it, I think the team from Scions could take it.
Yeah.
Let us, you mentioned, wanting to run a 20 to 30 campaign. I think that's the 30, right? It
is
line.
supposedly challenge rate 30, but we all know how well the challenge rating works these days. So
Works as well as corn cob toilet paper.
Ew.
All right, Mr. Clark says it's time to take our break. We're going to take 10 minutes, get our beverages of choice, our snickety snacks, handle our business, and we'll be back for more Pickin' and Grinnin'. So don't go nowheres. back. Thanks so much for hanging out while we took our break, got our snickety snacks, our beverages of choice, and handled our business. Today we're talking about a little bit of everything. And we're so thankful that you are here with us today. We love interaction with the audience, so if you have any questions, comments, whatever, throw them out there and we'll address them.
Cool. Yeah, back to our argument about the Trask, because it had me thinking.
Okay.
Because it's immune, it's immune to all non-magical attacks. So I'm like, well, crap, how's a fighter going to go after Trask? He's got a sword. Okay, it's a +2 sword. It's a magical sword. Now, is that magical damage or not? Or magical attack or not?
It's a magic sword. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, the internet actually kind of was slightly divided on that one. Some said because, well, it's still doing slashing damage, so it's not. But others say because the source is magic, a magic sword, it is for purposes of cutting through immunity.
Yeah, I would agree that. I mean, if you're using a magic weapon, it is magical slashing damage. That's otherwise,
magic weapon.
Right? Otherwise, martial classes can't damage anything once they get to higher levels. It makes martial classes useless. So it has to count as, in my opinion, it has to count as magical damage. There's no two ways about that to me.
Yeah, there was some argument out there. But I had to go dig into the monster manual to find it. Very specifically, a magical attack is an attack delivered by a spell, a magic item, or another magical source.
A magic weapon is a magic source.
Item.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, but I was like, I had to find it in the monster manual of all places.
Yeah, that really should be easier to access, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That should be in the player's handbook. Or the DMG at the least.
Yeah, at the least, yeah.
Yep. But it was a thought because we were talking Trasks and other weird, strong creatures. So, what else we got, chat? We love hearing from you. Please pipe up. Well, we'll answer any and all questions. Well, most questions.
I'll answer anything. So.
Yeah. By the way, the bill that I referenced appears to be called the Data Act, DATA.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to research that, it is in the Foreign Affairs Committee at current. Democrats are trying to oppose and block it, but it looks like it still might get out on the floor of the Senate. So write your representatives, people.
Yeah.
Don't quit being dicks.
Right.
That can apply to a lot of things going on in politics, but we're a D&D podcast, so
right. But having a VPN protects you and all of your stuff while you're playing D&D, because a lot of us play digitally these days, so it's adjacent.
Yep.
Okay.
Ooh, there's a thought.
While Raf looks up his thought, I came across another one, and this one is a stretch in my opinion, but rules is written, it's very gray. And that is the spell Prestidigitation.
I love that spell.
It's a great spell. So hold on, I'm going to pull up the spell. If I can spell. No, am I not spelling that right? Okay, I've got it on characters. Go find character. Because having the exact wording is important. At least. Yes. Okay, so Prestidigitation is a cantrip that offers you a spate of effects that you can use, and it's pretty vague. These are just magical effects sort of within this range. Create an instantaneous, harmless sensory effect such as a shower of sparks, a poof of wind, faint musical notes, or an odor. You instantaneously light or snuff out a candle or torch or small campfire. You instantaneously clean or soil an object no larger than 1 cubic foot. You chill, warm, or flavor up to 1 cubic foot of non-living material for an hour. You make a color, a mark, or a symbol appear on an object's surface for 1 hour, or you create a non-magical trinket or an illusory image that can fit in your hand and last until the end of your next. So the one we're particularly interested in is the chill, warm, or flavor up to 1 cubic foot of non-living material for 1 hour. So the warm is the important part there. Now it says up to 1 cubic foot, but it does not give a small end of that limitation, and it offers no limitation to how warm you make something.
Yeah, I saw this one.
Saw this one? Yeah. So
Yeah.
so it was put forward that you could use prestidigitation to create a nuclear weapon. Because you could heat an atom for an hour until it gets hot enough to incite fusion and then cause a nuclear reaction.
Yeah.
The response to this online was, it's a fucking cantrip.
It's a fucking cantrip, and the word is warm, not hot.
Right, yeah. But it points out the thing that's in there that's like up to a cubic foot includes an atom, and warm does not have a set like where is the line between warm and hot is the question really that then becomes, because they don't specify.
2 questions is back, and he's got his response is, with that kind of rules readings, the rules would have to be a EULA length.
Yes. Yes.
Got 2 things for you on that one. The first is, there was a story out on the internet that I came across about a robot that learned necromancy from a demon, and because it was an AI, it was able to write the perfect contract that the demon couldn't get out of to teach him necromancy. If you go look at it, it's a lot of fun. But the second thing is, I was looking at the flavor up to 1 cubic for an hour. So my new get rich snow crow scheme has just taken for days. It's warm out. I got shaved ice. Let's make some money.
Yeah, no, that's pretty good. Yeah, I think the flavor thing is the one that gets overlooked the most.
Uh-huh.
With the exception being the illusionary object. That one only gets used a little bit more, but never gets used as tactically as I would like to see it. I only haven't used it in a tactical way I'd like to see because I haven't been playing a character that has prestidigitation when there's been a MacGuffin fight, where there's a thing that everyone's trying to get their hands on. Because in that instance, I could spend my turn and use prestidigitation, and for the next round, it looks like I have the thing in my hand, which could sow confusion and misdirection on the battlefield.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the thing that gets overused is the cleaning.
The cleaning is the most useful part of that spell, yes.
But it gets overused or gets abused because people clean their entire bodies, and it says 1 cubic foot.
Yeah, but I'm okay with that. Okay, so it takes you
6 cubic feet, 6
times 6 is what, 36?
Yeah.
Takes you 36 seconds to clean your entire body at most. each foot of your body doesn't take up a full cubic foot.
Right. I'm just saying that.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. It does get overused, but I always sort of hand wave that off as, do they have more than 6 seconds? Yeah, they can clean their entire body, or a party member. If they've got, unless they're under a time crunch, like someone is dying, you don't stop and use prestidigitation when someone is dying, and you've only got a minute.
Oh, you absolutely do. This is an important moment in your life. You need to look your best for that moment in their life.
I'll prestidigitate you when you're alive again. Fine. You can be clean when you're back to living. Once we've stabilized you, I'll prestidigitate you. It's fine. No, but like the flavor thing, like how often, and it's more often than it should be, probably. You're in a dungeon and you have to, you're having to, you've met a group of people that you're trying to get in with, and they're serving something to eat, and it is not to your palate. You can just use prestidigitate to make it taste like whatever the fuck you want while you eat it. And then once the spell fades, you're not going to care that it no longer, that 1 cubic foot of food that you turned into strawberry ice cream doesn't taste like ice cream anymore now that you finished eating it. You're not going to care about that.
Tastes like snozzberries.
Or the olives that you've poured a rather bitter poison over now taste just like olives.
Oh, now there's a good use for it. I cast prestidigitate on it. Now it tastes normal.
So that you just increase the DC to detect the poison in it.
Yeah. The other one though, like I said, the MacGuffin one, the I make an object that looks like the thing that everyone's trying to get, and I sow confusion on the battlefield. It's something that doesn't happen often enough, in my opinion. But it's one of those very situational things that the stars need to align correctly for it.
Well, I'm looking at this. This spell is still insanely one of the best spells ever written because it has such utility. You instantly light or snuff out a candle, torch, or small campfire. Hey, we just light a fire tonight. Lit. We're done for the night. Cut it out.
Oh no, we all have dark vision and bandits are attacking. There goes the fire.
Yep. Turn off the lights.
I think people forget about that use for prestidigitation simply because it seems like it crosses over with control flames, which lets you put out a campfire, but that'll let you put out something bigger.
Yeah. And that's where you got to be careful with your definition of small campfire.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, we're not burning, we're not making a bonfire every night in camp. I still think thaumaturgy is better than prestidigitation. And I know that's a hard opinion, but it's mine.
You have a lot of those.
I love thaumaturgy because of Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings is why I love thaumaturgy. Because it's my favorite. If you're a D&D player, my favorite joke in Lord of the Rings is told by Gandalf. When him and Frodo are looking at the One Ring. And Gandalf appears to grow in size, and the shadows grow around him, and his voice booms, and he says, "Do not take me for some conjurer of cheap tricks," while he is using the cheapest fucking trick in the book, which is a cantrip.
Yep.
That's thaumaturgy, and that makes it the best as far as I'm concerned. If thaumaturgy existed in Star Wars, Vader would use it every goddamn turn.
Yes.
Like, it's the over dramatic spell. It's good for being dramatic.
You alter the appearance of your eyes for 1 minute.
I think the only spell that I used, the only cantrip that I used more as Karak than thaumaturgy was guidance.
Jerry Cat says you can be wrong and it's okay.
Fair.
Yep.
All right, let me rephrase. Maybe it's not a better spell. It's definitely a more fun spell.
I think
thaumaturgy is more fun.
I think it's all situational.
I think prestidigitation could be more fun if people used it more for fun things. But people mostly, as you pointed out, use it for cleaning, and cleaning is not fun. So
No.
but making all the shutters bang closed in a tavern and all the candles snuff out all at once, which is what thaumaturgy can do, is so much cooler.
Huh. You mean that shutter that sniper is shooting at me through?
Right?
Just take an action, open it. Close it again.
Oh no, now we have full cover.
Yep.
Jumping back to the Taras thing, it just occurred to me while we're talking about this that means that most warlocks are completely unaffected against Taras. Because warlocks only get 3 spells. And then after that, it's all cantrips all day long. And almost all of the cantrips available that are damage based are attack spells that you have to roll an attack for, and therefore the Tarask is immune and going to reflect it back at you. Eldritch Blast doesn't work on a Tarask at all.
No, it doesn't.
So, like, you just hamstringed every warlock in the game against the Tarask. Warlocks are the only warlock that's going to be effective against the Tarask, I think, is going to be a Hexblade, because they'll have a magic weapon.
One second, I gotta take this.
They can go front line and start hacking.
Now I'm looking up all cantrips.
And then if they've if they've taken like things like Relentless Hex and Armor of Hexes, then they can, every time the Tarask moves away from them, if they've hexed the Tarask, they can jump back to it as a bonus action and start slashing again. And anytime the Tarask tries to hit them, they can say no with Armor of Hexes and roll a d6 and have a 2/3 chance, I think it is, of not being hit, which is huge.
Siri says that they use I use it to change other characters' hair color and then see how long it takes them to notice.
Ooh.
Yeah, because color is listed.
I thought I had one that would work Acid Splash, but no, that's 2 targets. It's not an actual AoE.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about changing your hair color with prestidigitation. Okay, Tonks. Yeah, you make a color, a small mark, or a symbol appear on an object or surface for 1 hour. There's a lot of use there, too. Like, for example, let's say you're trying to infiltrate a thieves guild, and they all have a tattoo that marks them as part of the thieves guild. You can just prestidigitate the mark onto your skin for an hour to make them think that you're part of their organization.
If you think about Lord of the Rings, that's basically what Gandalf used to mark Bilbo's door.
Yeah. But it lasted longer than an hour.
Yeah, he's a powerful wizard.
Maybe he's a sorcerer. Wait, now there's Gandalf never uses a spell book. Gandalf's a sorcerer.
Or a warlock.
Well, I mean, and yeah, that by the lore, warlock could work. Gandalf has definitely more than 2 spells.
Yes.
So I would put it so he could have used whatever the meta magic thing is that lets you spend sorcery points to heighten the duration of a spell, I guess. Or maybe he just used Major Illusion. Or whatever the one is that lets you create a permanent illusion. I can't think of what that's called now.
All right.
Major Image, I think it is. Major Image.
Something like that. Back to the could a warlock damage Trask with cantrips? The answer is yes. I think I found one spell that might work. Vicious Mockery.
Oh my god, I saw a TikTok yesterday. I don't know if you've seen there's a TikTok creator who's Australian that does job interviews, and they do a lot of like hospital, like people in the medical industry interviews, and they ask questions. They're playing both sides of the interview, and they ask a question and then answer it, and they're hilarious. And someone took that format and did it for bards.
Oh God.
And it's absolutely hilarious. And when mentioning vicious mockery, they reference telling your mom was a joke so hurtful that that it knocked out the barbarian. Like,
yeah. Speaking of odd tangents, we've all heard the horny bard trope that's been running the memes.
Yes.
Well, now they're moving on to the horny paladin running the memes. I'm like, why is this coming across my stream? But because, yeah, how many of the paladin orders actually say celibacy?
In 5e, none of them.
All
I can
right,
think of one that goes for monogamy, and that would be oath of devotion if you're devoted to a spouse. Anyway, you were going to say, Tier?
I believe we're going to call it for today. I'm hurting and I have physical therapy, and so I need to rest a little bit before PT. Want to thank you, lovely audience people, for being here today. We love having you. You make our day brighter. Thank you, too, for being here with me, and we'll have to discuss when we're moving to, because we're definitely moving. Stay tuned for more details on that. But for now, let's remind people who we are, where they can find us, and let's get on out of here.
Greetings, gamers. I've been Raph the Mad, one of your co-hosts for this weird and odd conversation we've had, and I can be found at BLK Dragon 13,000 at Dice.camp on Mastodon.
Hi, gamers. I'm still Locke Clark, and remember that once you have one platinum-lined glass vial filled with an eyeball, that's all you need. You don't need more than one because it's not consumed by the spell. And you can find me on the social medias at Locke Unruly. That's Locke with an H.
And I'm Tier the DM, the world's okayest DM, and you can find me on Twitters at Tier_the_DM. And remember, guys, things get tough, times get hard, but there's always a brighter day. Remember that love and inclusion, these are the torches that light a path to a better tomorrow. Come join us and be torchbearers. And until next time, if someone doesn't know, don't cast aspersions, cast guidance. Love you guys.